Alright YouTube, I'm going to do an updated tour of the Boombox, and we'll start off here. I've got my Boss Audio speakers. They're like $20 on Amazon. They're woofers, I think, are polypropylene. They're painted red, kind of like a candy apple red. And they're two-way speakers, so there's a little phase plug down in there, and it's got that tweeter on the end of it, that you see there. I was thinking about replacing them with some Blaupunkt marine speakers, because I actually found some that are pretty cool looking. Because, you know, marine speakers are usually ugly, but they're fine. You know, if they die, I'll replace them. Like if any sand gets in the face plug. Here's my amp. This is the Lepi LP S60. And it is a cheap Chinese amp, like a lot of the other amps I have. And Lepi does make interesting amps. Like, it's got a... I don't know if you can see it down in there, but it's got a Lepi board in it. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lepi. Come on. Yeah, I don't think you guys can see down in there. But it's got a board in there that says Lepi. And Lepi and Lepi are the same company. There's the Lepi LP 2020 A+, and there's the Lepi LP 2020 A+, and they're the same thing. And so yeah, it's pretty good amp. It's 25 watts per channel at 8 ohms, and 50 watts per channel at 4 ohms, and that's the RMS power of these, so it all matches up just nice. These amps are pretty interesting. They're very poorly made, and their power is like kind of clippy and staticky, but they're like freaking magic because none of these Lepi amps sound that, they don't sound that way. And it feels like they're giving out more power than they're rated at. But they're not, I guess they're just magical. So here we've got my speaker connections hooked into the Boss speakers. And I crimped these little, I don't know what any of these little crimping pieces are, what they're called, whatever. But they're the ones that, like, slide into those other ones, and I just crimped some of those on there, and then bent them. So hold on a sec. Sorry if you can hear all that clanging and banging outside. I've got, like, no insulation in this house. And so, there's my clock. I'm going inside here. We've got the battery, 26 amps. It's a good battery. It's got a little bit of tape adhesive melted onto it because it sat in the sun a while when it got delivered, and the bolts here were taped to it. But it's okay. And there's my voltage meter. I'll go around the other side and look at that. It's my voltage meter right there. Once again, there's the clock. And here is this piece of foam, so the chain doesn't rattle against it, and we were gonna get those like arms that go on here, but they wouldn't go down because of this thing. It was, I don't know, and they were very cheaply made. One of them wasn't even put together right, so we just put some chain on there and it works just fine. It doesn't vibrate since we put those on there, but this hinge here does vibrate. And, yeah, we got another strip of it up there, so it closes like so. And this is, actually from General Electric. My stepdad took some of this from a job he was at working for General Electric like 15 years ago, and it's pretty good. I mean, even after 15 years, the adhesive on this shit it's spectacular. That helps me make it a little bit of a seal, because I messed up last time. And I've got everything hooked into this 12-volt cigarette lighter thing here, and I've got it that way for a reason, because I don't want like 5 different things hooked onto the battery. I wanted to just have one thing hooked onto the battery that I could just plug everything into, so this was a good solution for that. I originally had this wired directly into the battery, but when I added more stuff to it, I just did this. Yeah, there's my professional zip tie job there. Down here I've got a bunch of cords. Some of them aren't plugged into anything, like that auxiliary cable is just my auxiliary cable. And then you got these clip connections here that I usually just stick them on the back of the magnet for the speaker, but I don't care right now. Those are for my solar panel, but I don't use them often because the solar panel has a cigarette lighter plug that I just plug into there. I unplug the inverter and then plug that in, or the power amp. Depends on which one I'm using. I might get a 3-way version of this thing. And I just plug it in there and charge the battery because it's got a fuse and it helps control the flow of the power into the battery without burning it up because I don't have a charge controller. And this thing I recommend because it's awesome getting one of these. It originally had a little red LED light on it, but that was when I wasn't using anything that was using a little more power than I would have liked it to. I mean, hardly any, but still it was using some, so I just opened it up and cut the little light out, and now it seems to be working better. And that's the inside. Here's my inverter for my outlets. Oh, I don't know if I showed you these. These are my 110 outlets here. I can plug stuff into them like a television or a small computer and it'll power it. Maybe a full-size computer, I don't know. It's 300 watts, so yeah. And off this battery, this is a small battery to use for an inverter. It'll probably last me about a couple hours. It's not a very big battery to use for an inverter. In fact, it's a little too small to use for an inverter, but it's a 20-pound battery, and this thing's heavy enough as it is, so it's about as big as I could go. So I use that solar panel when I'm using that. And I've got some other cords in here. Oh, and down in here I've got a subwoofer on there. Another one over there. They're 5 inches or 4 inches, I think. These are 6-inch speakers out here. But these are for complete bass replication. I don't know if that's a word. And they work very well. They're they were facing each other, and I cut a little hole out. And so you guys are probably thinking, no, that doesn't work. Actually, someone made a great comment about that. When subwoofers face each other, what happens is they fight each other because they move, you know. But when they're facing each other and you wire one of them out of phase, then they move together and just basically create double the amount of bass for not as much power. It's a good idea. So that's what I did. Here's all my speaker connections for my desk amp. It's really good. I'm surprised with the quality of these cheap amps. I mean, they're very, very well done. I mean, the instructions are in Mandarin, so I don't know that much about it. I mean, I've figured out everything it can do, but they're very cheap, but they're good. And the cool thing is, it's just sitting on this little platform here. It's not bolted down or anything, and as you can tell, it's not gonna come out of there. But there's a trick to get it out. You kind of gotta lift this up a little and push. Hell, even getting it out that way is hard. It's a nice snug fit in this little hole I made. It's got a little thing that snaps on to fill in the edges. And yeah, it's got these little foam feet on the bottom that kind of stop it from going out. So it locks itself in there pretty well. Don't need any screws. And that's the inside of it. Did I cover everything? I got the inverter. Yeah. Okay, looks like I got everything. And so yeah, that's my boombox. If you want to see a sound test of it, I made a video of that a while ago. It's like a link on the screen here somewhere, so just click on that and it'll take you to the sound test.